Alrighty then, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome, one and all. My name is Michael, I'm the Dead Aussie Gamer, and welcome to Pathfinder 2nd Edition, The Seven Dooms of Sandpoint. And yet again, my whole box has decided I'm gonna go, south for the winter. I don't know why, but it is. There we go. Boom. There it is. Good to see you guys. Nice to be back after a relatively long hiatus. I feel like we've had a lot of missing players for a few games, so I'm itching to get into a good game today. And what better way to get into said good game than with these wonderful and incredible people who are my Patreons, who support the channel and help me keep the lights on here, guys. Say hello to the folks at home.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hey everyone.
Hello, home of folks.
It's so good to see you all. And yeah, I cannot wait for today. So in fact, I'm going to speed through the intro just so that we can get into today. First of all, we have some people to thank, and that is, of course, the people who make us look as good as we do on camera. And that is, of course, none other than our sponsors. We have three amazing sponsors here for the channel that allow us to do all the cool stuff. First of all, we have Hero Forge for the wonderful art you can see on screen. All the characters, all of our character tokens and the like are done using an amazing 3D model making software that allows you to create, boom, 3D miniatures and have them shipped to you anywhere in the world. It is a constantly evolving platform that allows you more and more versatility and more options every single time I go back and look. So go and check it out, heroforge.com. Amazing thing there. Then, of course, we have Sirenscape for the beautiful sound effects that you can hear over the course of the session today. Basically, any of the ambient noises, the music scores, things like that we hear, Sirenscape is where we use to help elevate our game. So go and check those ones out as well. And lastly, we have Fantasy Grounds for our VTT of choice, which you can see behind me, which helps connect players from all around the world and does a lot of the heavy lifting for GMs like myself, so we can focus on what truly matters, and that is, of course, our story and our players. So thank you to all of our sponsors. Now, I do have another little thing to promote real quick. Boom! This thing. Why am I promoting this thing? This is a Kickstarter for a friend of mine and a friend of the channel's. This is from the great minds of Three Black Halflings. It is the City of Black Rose campaign setting. For those of you who have seen my content for a while now, you would know that I have done a lot of work with the Three Black Halflings, especially Jeremy Hobbs. Jeremy is an amazing friend, a wonderful talent, and an incredibly versatile, creative mind. The City of Black Rose is a noir setting set for in pretty much any fantasy game that you want to. It has got horror, it's got intrigue, it's got investigations, detectives, and that gothic... that sort of mid-50s gothic style that we come to love and expect from the Norse scene. So, yeah, go check it out. It's compatible with D&D 5e, Daggerheart, and really all RPGs if you want to kind of like, delve into it. But yeah, go check that out if you want to support them. Yeah, please do so. Like I said, Jeremy and the Three Black Halfling team is, good friends of the channel, so I wanted to promote them while they are kickstarting. And the Kickstarter goes for another 26, 20-something days. So yeah, go check it out. There we go. Cool. Then, of course, we have our lovely players who are joining us today. We have none other than Schooley playing the role of Cinderiel, the cleric of Sarenrae, a person who has been through the fire and the flame more than a few times at this point in time. Good to see you, Schooley.
Hello, everyone.
We then have, of course, Westonson, our rootin' tootin' god from the city of Magnamar, who is basically, well, ex-god, should I say, who is trying to find a new path, one that is hopefully devoid of the, like, devil juices and giggle juice. The giggle juice is the word I was looking for. This crazy and amazing character is played by our dear friend, Avarian CA. G'day, John.
Hello, everybody.
Sir, not appearing in this film is Titus, the Azaketi champion of Shaylin, the god of art. Ironically, because they impersonated their master and snuck away, and now they're being punished by being forced to stay in town. This character was played by Sean, who is not here today. We hope Sean all the best. We tried to get in contact with him earlier on, so he might be missing. So please, as everyone in the community, we ask that you check your milk boxes just to kind of like see if you see him around. Just bring him back here. Then, of course, we have the monster hunter Kolo Ziak, a person who comes from a long line of adopted now this is the bit that I'm still going with, right? They're a group of monster hunters who apparently adopt monsters to train in the art of monster hunting. Make of that what you will, but this crazy character and their cockroach conscience is played by none other than the amazing and wonderful Rock Protector. G'day, Rock.
Hi, everybody.
And then we have none other than Peyton, our big thuggy thug McThugface, who is trying to. He's a good boy, isn't he? Just the goodest boy. And this thuggy character is played by our dear friend Neil, aka Immersion Diversion. Good to see you, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Yeah.
And last but certainly not least, on a quest to restore the memories of his long forgotten, his lobotomized love. I did that to her. I'm not going to lie. It was me. Navander, on a quest to try and restore the memories of his lobotomized love. A ranger, an archer, a man of the land. We have, of course, none other than playing this incredible character, Matt from All Things Fantasy.
Good morning.
How are you, my friend?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I'm doing spectacular, thank you. I've got lots of exciting plans for today, so I'm amped up for my game and, all the cool stuff. So, there you go.
Not sure if I should be nervous or excited. I like it.
Both. Always both. Always a state of both excitement and terror simultaneously. All right. Now, before we kick off, of course, we have one last person to thank, and that is, of course, our lovely audience members. Guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the channel and for doing all the cool stuff that we do here by watching us and supporting us. First of all, just by watching the show, you earn channel points. You can use those channel points at any time by using the $dollar doos in chat to influence the game. Insight bonuses, wandering monsters, wandering bosses, tons of cool stuff, so go check that out. Then, of course, we have our monetary donations that help support the channel and keep the lights on here at the Dead Aussie Gamer channel. We are at 72% of our goal, which is great. It's amazing, and thank you so much to everyone who has, basically helped pull us together to this point. Honestly, this amount, given we have missed, so many streams this month due to holidays, sicknesses, missing people, it truly means so much. Pebbles, please, as always, drive safe, enjoy your trip, and, I hope that you and the family are doing good. But yes, going to it. Monetary donations. We have a number of more tangible rewards for those of you who wish to help support the Dead Aussie Gamer. First of all, for $5, you can award a red mark to a player or a purple mark to me. These are Jinx points and Hero points. Hero points can be used by my players to stave off death, petition the DM for stuff that isn't in the rules, or roll with advantage. Jinx points can be used by bad guys to cancel hero points, have bad guys roll with advantage, or complicate things ever so slightly. We then, of course, have our $10 donation, where I will draw from one of two decks of cards in front of me. Either a deck of heroic actions, which will give a player of your choice a cool free action that is unique to the card, or a free hero point. The second deck I have for the $10 tier is a deck of plot twists and flashbacks, where I will take a random card or a series of random cards. You get to select one of them, and then I have to try and insert that plot twist into the game today. So it keeps me on my toes. Helps me with my GMing, that sort of thing. $20 gives you a natural 20 to a player of your choice, because sometimes nat 20s just need to fucking work. So there you go. So nat 20s are a nat 20. $50, we have 3 rewards for our $50 tier. We have our boss buff, which increases our battle or combat scenario by a catastrophic amount. It's nasty. If you wake up and chose violence, the boss buff's will go. Then we have a magic item, where you can provide a player of your choice a magic item of either your design or their choosing. Or a Harrow deck reading, where I will read the fortune from the Harrow deck for the table, and it'll provide our group with buffs, and if they manage to try to achieve the fortune, our group will consider to have only critical successes regarding that encounter. So there you go. And then we have our big $100 secret menu item, and this one's a doozy. This one's a big one. So, as you guys know, in the town of Sandpoint right now, everyone is currently in a kind of a high state of tension. It turns out the priest, known as Father Xantus, cleric of Desna, the god of dreams, had within his conscience the guilt of having to see one of his predecessor's flock, and his predecessor's daughter, in fact, fall to the ways of the evil god Lamashtu. But realizing that her journey really began with torment that was given by the townsfolk, he felt that it was important to try and help her move on, help her at least have an afterlife that wasn't suffering and torment. So Father Xantus summoned the spirit of this person named Noalia and offered forgiveness. This, however, did not sit well with the town, and the town is now in a bit of an uproar about the fact that the priest was borderline using necromancy to contact an old enemy of the town, and now has brought about 7 dooms upon this terrible this city. So there's lots of people talking, lots of people umming and ahhing. The $100 secret menu item for today is going to be the design and choice of cleric that will be brought in by the Scarnettis to replace Father Xantus. So Father Xantus, in the book itself, is always going to be here. However, you will get to decide not only the personality and the person who is going to be coming as an NPC to replace Father Xantus, but also what god they worship. Now, keeping in mind, they don't have to worship a good god. They could worship an evil god. And if they do so, maybe they do so in secret. Maybe they do so out in the open. And how would their new spiritual leader impact the way that the city or the town is going to run? If we have, a militant god, like we have, say, Iomade, is the whole town now going to basically be put under a strict military kind of, guidance? Or are we going to perhaps see Shaylin, the god of art, and see this place turn into a bohemian city of art and expression? Whatever happens to the town, you could have a very big influence by that donation. So yeah, there we go. That's our $100 secret menu item. Cool. Everyone ready to go?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Everyone ready to go?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. All right, cool.
Yes.
So without any further ado, we return back to our scene where we had previously left off. That's not the sound effects I wanted. One moment. Music maestro. There we go. Perfect. Now, we return back to the town of Sandpoint, along the southern road, where several mansions lie at the edge of a cliff face, each of which belonging to the various families and houses that formed and gathered to first make the town of Sandpoint. Here, resting on the edge, is the Scarnetti Manor, where a party was being held by none other than Khan Scarnetti, the current second of the house, but who's kind of being shaped to take over in due time, who has arranged a party in order to try and discuss with some of the more influential members of the town what to do about Father Xantus, the priest of Desna, who had reached through the veil and had begun conspiring with enemies of the town in order to perform rituals, acts, depravity, luring monsters, and many other terrible things, all of which he intends to put an end to once and for all, thanks to the influence of the people gathered at this party. Our heroes managed to acquire a very twisty version of an invitation, and arrived at the manor. After intermingling with one another, they encountered a man by the name of Noen, a dead ringer for Peyton, whom our heroes deduced is likely one of the clones which escaped from the pit, where the Darrow had been cloning our heroes to be using for experiments. This individual, however, seems to have more identity than the previous ones they had encountered. And what made matters worse is not only was he a little bit more refined than our dear friend Peyton, but also had the arm of none other than Misha, childhood friend to Peyton. Apparently, no one has claimed themselves to be a distant relative of the young Peyton, which is why they bear such a striking resemblance. However, this individual has taken full swing to side with the Scarnettis against Peyton and his current exploits with the rest of the group. Westonson, finding himself a little, what's the word? Needing a bit of air, should we say. Peyton left in the company of the town blacksmith. After a short walk discussing the rather... Wait, wasn't it the blacksmith?
No,
It's just the
that's not
Peyton.
what
Westonson.
Westonson.
you just
sorry,
said
sorry,
Weston,
sorry,
and then you're like
I
Peyton.
know
And I
names.
was like,
Sorry,
But I'm,
Westonson.
I'm perfectly fine with Peyton going out and
Yeah, to
I'm
take
good with
my
that
seat.
team.
potentially dying to the.
All right. Westonson leaving with the town blacksmith to discuss a few, like things involving his weaponry, his attire, and stuff like that. Found themselves being stalked by a creature they had encountered. Yes, Cinderio?
It was a new leg.
Oh, it's for a new leg. That's right. Thank you. Yeah. Encountered a creature that they had met within the pit that they had been slowly but surely descending to explore and destroy the various dooms that dwelled within. One had followed them to town, a giant boulette known as Silva, suddenly leapt from beneath the dirt and stone, grabbing onto the blacksmith, shaking him about violently before disappearing beneath the dirt. Blood splayed all over the muddy banks. Westonson pinned back up against the building, the sounds of commotion drawing the party from inside, only to see the devastation laying before them. Khan Scarnetti was quick to accuse the group of having brought even more danger here, and if there was no greater sign that these people and what they're doing is bringing a danger to this town, then this should prove everything. The fact that they are here just as a creature for the first time ever comes to the Scarnetti Manor and attacks. This is nothing short of validation for everything the Scarnettis have been saying. Since day one, since the summoning of Nualia, there is a murmur that hits over the crowd. Everyone begins to chatter. Everyone begins to ponder. Maybe he's right. Maybe they are dangerous. They begin to look at you. Cindariel and Peyton, you two specifically, as people who grew up in this town, no longer see the faces of your friends and neighbors, but you see fear everywhere you look.
No, this is me as a player. So you made the claim that nothing has ever happened inside the manor.
Oh,
No,
well, in the manor
I'll say-
grounds, should we say, yeah.
Yeah. No, I'll say me as a player, I don't know this. I'm presuming, because obviously this town has got quite a big sordid history.
Mm-mm.
This is something that Matt probably knows off the top of his head. Is that actually a true statement for all the past history that's actually happened? Has the manor itself actually ever...
The manor itself has not actually been attacked. So the town of Sandpoint has undergone a few different
Yeah, and I know the
So
town.
I'll go over them because this is part of your memory and stuff, especially, and Navander, you as well are also quite familiar with this. The history of Sandpoint started with a raid by goblins, which took place over here by the church. Now, during the time of troubles, throughout the city, there were a bunch of different incidences, should I say, that transpired that made things kind of, well, rough to say the least. Giants attacked the walls and crossed the bridges to the town, which were over in these areas here. There was a dragon who basically perched atop the theater, which was over here, I think, somewhere here. And basically destroyed a good chunk of the town. There's also a haunted nest over here on this small island that people don't go to in general. And this cliff face here is known as Junker's Edge, where the townsfolk throw junk over into the onto the beach here, where goblins are said to exist. However, down here in that little like sort of a wade area, there isn't actually too much in the way of dramas and the like. I mean, the occasional like wild animal might wander into this paddock and an area, but most people set their eyes upon the main town itself.
Is it common knowledge that Scarnetti and the Scanzi are connected somewhat?
You can make a underground lore or a history check if you would like to, or an appropriate history like check to ascertain that. Otherwise, I would say you would know the Scarnetti. There's rumors that the Scarnetti are maybe tied to the Scani, but nothing hard evidence. You know what I mean?
Could I argue perhaps a lore Sandpoint?
Sure, I'm happy for that.
Probably not. Never mind.
All right. Unfortunately, with the 17, you do not have much in the way of knowledge about that. But you do know that the Scarnetti are very, like, they don't do hard work like everyone else in the town does, but they're still very, very well off, which, you know, can make rumors happen. So, you know, there you go. Now, again, outside of the manor, the crowd seems to be turning on you. You should get out of here. Yeah, we don't want any trouble. Okay, we're just trying to have a you know this party. It's really nice. You people, you don't belong here. A few murmurs begin to murmur in agreement. A few moments later, a man steps forward. Come, friends. Look, I know you may not know me very well. I am but a visitor to this town, and your times and your troubles are well known even from the far reaches from whence I came. But is this the town of Sandpoint you wish to preserve? One that is able to throw to the streets those who remain in your town? Members of your fine community? Do we not wish to gather together in order to support one another when the times are hardest? People start feeling a little bit bad. They're like, you know. Now, sure, perhaps the exploits that these fine, upstanding citizens are attempting to do have drawn the attention of such dangerous creatures, but is it not more important that we ensure that the townsfolk are safe? For now, I think maybe it's best that we all return to our domiciles. Perhaps taking some time to fortify and make sure that our loved ones remain safe. At this point, you see Khan Scarnetti saying, "But he looks over. Yes, quite right. After all, someone has to look after this town and make sure that its people are safe. Yes, please, ladies and gentlemen, go home, lock your doors for the evening. And by the time the morning has arisen and that good-for-nothing sheriff has awoken, I'm fairly sure the militia will be deployed to deal with the beast itself."
I'd like to imagine that Belloc's like just beside him going, "What?"
Baylock wasn't here, was he?
You haven't mentioned him, but
No, I don't think he's here. No, he's not here. He definitely would not be tolerating what do you call it? Insurrection. Yeah, no. Baylor Hemlock is asleep in his own house. But yes, slowly but surely, people start to agree and dissipate, moving off as a group. Again, there's still that nervousness, and their movements are hastened. Khan sort of looks at you all and sort of has this scowl upon his face. He says, "I don't know what you're playing at, and I don't know exactly what it is you seek to find down in that wretched hole that you've been digging around. But all you're doing is handing me the city. So..."
Mr. Scarnetti, sorry to interrupt, but there is trouble in that pit, and it is very close to town. If you like, we can have a full conversation about what we have found there.
You would be wasting your breath. Because I would tell you the same thing now as I would tell you after hearing about your sordid, bar-drunk tales. Sometimes you leave the wasp's nest alone. It doesn't need to be stirred by the likes of you and have the people of this town fall victim to your morbid and sick curiosity.
Wasps' nests are aggressive regardless of where they are. They do
At
need
least
to be
we're-
taken out before they kill the cattle.
At least we're doing something about it.
Ooh, make a intimidate or diplomacy check as you approach, kind of like confronting him about this. Also, by the way, OG Lava Kitten coming in with the secret menu item. Thank you so much, you
Evander
lovely,
and Peyton,
sweet
or just
being.
Evander?
Both of you, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was trying to be intimidating, so.
I was being diplomatic. Navanda was being diplomatic about this.
Sure. Okay. At what level are you guys? Like 7, 8, 12?
I think we're 6.
We
Six.
are level 6. Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, Navander, this guy is not easy to see reason, but with Peyton's help, at the very least, you can tell that he knows you're not dicking around. You know what I mean? Like, he knows that there is something there, and you kind of get the suspicion that while he knows there's something there, he doesn't really care about it more than he cares about gaining power in the town. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah. So
It does not surprise me either.
Yeah. He then turns around and adjourns himself. Meanwhile, off in the distance, I say a short distance away. Misha, I'm terribly sorry that this evening did not go as planned. I was hoping that it would be a lot more civil. Misha, Peyton's childhood sweetheart and, childhood friend and owner of the herbologist nearby, takes up Noin's hand and says, "No, it's quite all right. I had a great time, and thank you for inviting me. I must say, I didn't know that Peyton had much family. He spent all of his time growing up in the orphanage. I thought that if he did, they would have, yes, an unfortunate result of our parents coupling. But I'm sure there's plenty of time to talk about that later, and I'm not sure if Peyton would necessarily be comfortable divulging the origins of our relationship quite just yet. But for the time being, please." And he hands a locket to Misha. She looks at it and she says, "Oh, thank you. This is too much. No, not at all. Consider it just something to help keep you safe on your trip home." She holds it tightly and says, "Thank you." She looks at all of you and says, "I hope you guys know what you're doing. People are scared, and they need assurance, not bravery."
During this entire time, Westinson's gone over to the remains of the blacksmith that absolutely nobody has decided to look at or talk over. He's closing his eyes because he's obviously passed away and sort of.
Right? I thought last time Dag said it was like broken ribs chunk out the flesh, but he was still
He's still alive.
survivable.
No, still alive. Then I'm tending to him.
Yeah, okay.
I'm pulling out a potion of.
Yeah.
Yeah, look,
lot of
there's a
healing.
lot of stuff. So yeah, okay, you
I'm
rush
covering
over.
his nose and mouth, apologizing to him.
Yeah, you rush over. You can see the wound is thankfully quite shallow, despite being quite large and quite vicious looking. The blacksmith, who let me just get rid of these guys real quick. The blacksmith, who is laying on the ground, has lost consciousness, but is still breathing quite shallowly. Make a medicine check as you try to attend to the wounds.
Just shoot him in the wound with the healing bullet.
Loot that body. Loot that body now. All right.
Wait.
Critical failure.
He's too far gone.
I think I'll try a hero point on that one.
You basically, you put your hat in his face.
Yeah, that's bad.
You do have hero points.
You know what? I'll just nat 20 it.
Oh, okay. Throwing in the nat 20. I love it. All right. With a natural 20 used by Westonson. Thankfully, beast wounds are something that Westonson in his past has actually dealt with. You quickly go through some of your kit, and in your alchemical kit, you've got some glue and some salves for some emergency triage. You begin to stitch the bite wounds and where the fangs have torn through the flesh, and you've staunched the bleeding. He will definitely live, though he will definitely need a lot of bed rest. In about 10-15 minutes, Father Xantus, who has been summoned by one of the people who have gone back to town, will arrive to help you. But for the time being, you're trying to keep him comfortable. Though you're not surprised that Khan Scarnetti has done nothing about his body. Hasn't offered to help take him inside, hasn't offered to heal him, hasn't offered to get a coach. Nothing. He just scowled at you, said his piece, and then has gone inside. The only person now remaining is Noin.
It's a no-win situation.
It's a no-win situation. Yeah.
I'm gonna walk up to no one.
Noin looks at you, and a rather wicked smile creeps across his face.
I don't know who you are.
Oh,
You claim to
please.
be a relative.
You don't know who
But
I am?
I think I know who you are.
I would hope so.
I know who he is.
I would hope you would, Father.
Father.
Stupid clone.
Wow.
You should have stayed down in that.
We
You should have
prefer-
stayed down in that
we,
pit.
we prefer the term, identical humanoid persons. Fucking racist.
What are you getting at here? Why are you with Misha?
Button.
Wouldn't you like to know? Well, actually, you would. That's why you asked.
Yeah.
The short answer, Father, is that you do not treasure or value what you have here. You never have. You've been too busy pitying yourself and trying to get by on your own, and I think that, well, people deserve a higher class of citizen. After all, what have you done for the people of this town? You say you wish to help, and yet continually put them in jeopardy. And yourself. I mean, after all, within me and those of my brothers and sisters, we all have the same drive. We all have the same need to find a place, to find a home, a place that we can belong. Little surprise did I find when finding a place to belong here in your place, there was nothing. He leans in and he says, because if you died in that pit, no one in this town would care.
Evander's
Gonna,
gonna pull.
I grab him.
tape
Oh.
back a bit.
Oh, you gonna hold me back when I try to grab him?
Yeah, yep. As Peyton goes off and tries to grab him, Navander reaches up behind and holds him back.
Peyton, look at what he's done to the community. If it seemed that you're assaulting a member of the community, especially one who's speaking out against us and our activities, it's gonna end badly. Don't.
Sure, no one would mind if I was assaulting
Peyton.
myself. I take one look at Newton, or what was his? No one. Yeah, sorry. I looked at my thing to make sure I got it right. I take one look at no one. I just say, "You harm Misha even a little bit, and you'll regret coming out of that canister."
Oh, trust me. I have much grander plans for Misha. But for now, however, why don't you get some rest? Perhaps wash up next time before you come to a party? He puts his glass down on the windowsill outside as he then walks to leave. You have no idea where, but he leaves.
Yeah.
Ziak, you hear a voice coming from your shoulder as this cockroach runs out of your fur. Oh, well, that guy's an asshole.
Yeah. Indeed. He is.
I mean, Navander said that Peyton shouldn't do anything. I still think we could put him in a body bag and bury him somewhere no one can fucking find.
Damn. Did you get your your sleep today?
It's been hard to sleep, underground's pretty, hectic and stuff, and I thought we were coming for a nice party. I didn't even have any of the canapé or anything. And then this guy tries to shit on my friends, and I'm just, there's only so much a cockroach that is supposed to be the conscience of a bloodthirsty monster hunter can really take. I've had the Mickey up to here now, don't you know?
Well, I'm sorry about that.
you just see this angry cockroach just scuffling on your shirt. Also, by the way, we have now got, thanks to Cookie Mon Steve, we have 2 secret menu items unlocked.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
No, we don't?
It's not a secret.
Oh.
As we've just lost your microphone, I think.
Oh no.
Second.
Oh,
There
wow.
we go. Okay, cool. It's back.
Hello.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so we have 4 hero points, 2 nat 20s, and a boss buff. Dang. Okay,
Ooh.
let's do it.
Damn.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Why are you putting them on Titus?
Who's getting buffed?
I don't know. Why was I putting on my Titus? yeah.
Titus game.
All right.
Is that everyone?
And
The 4th tier partners of the Vampire.
yeah, there we go. Done. 2 nat 20s, which gives Ziak and Westonson their full nat 20s.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, there we go. And a boss buff. Don't worry, we will definitely throw that boss buff in just a moment. But yes, OG, just send me a Discord message with your idea for just your idea for the priest character, and if you have a god that you would like them to worship, throw that in as well. And if anyone wants to, I was going to say the next secret menu item, if we go for it again, we will put another priest in. Doesn't mean there has to be one. Can have multiple priests come in. Could be an audition, like, Sandpoint Idol.
Sandpoint got talent.
Sandpoint got talent.
It could be a group, a cult.
Oh, that's true. Could be a whole cult. That could be it.
I was waiting to say, because they've identified that one person leading is not good, actually have a council.
Yeah, that's true. Council. 3, 4 people. Who knows? All right. Now, what do you guys do for the rest of the evening?
Oh,
You obviously
I think
have
we all
some-
need some rest. Like, good rest.
Yep. Good rest.
Navander is going to go home and actually write a letter to the fort nearby.
Oh, Fort Rennick. Talked to see if
Rennick.
your wife got there. Yep, not a problem.
Yep, as
Ziak?
well as to
sorry.
as well as to let him know everything that's occurred in Sandpoint, and to let him know that we might need some reinforcements if he can spare them.
All right. The message will have to go out in the morning because it is still in the middle of the night, so the messengers aren't available. But sure, not a problem. Ziak.
Probably, yeah, rest up. Yeah.
Nice. Cinderial.
Cinderial is still processing everything that's happened, especially having the town turn on her, so she's feeling a bit down.
Mm-hmm.
And also with being underground for so long, she's going to spend the time until she eventually passes out from probably exhaustion, hugging the bracers that she's got, almost rocking, as she's thinking, why do I keep going underground?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and try to focus on the life that she should be living up in the town that she's trying to protect.
Okay, I like it. Westonson, as for you.
I'm going back to whatever
Oh, I was gonna
in
get.
room. Oh,
I got a scene for you.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah. As you were tending the wounds of the blacksmith, Father Xantus approaches. He is moving as swiftly as he can.
Over here.
As he arrives, my God, I am so sorry. I thought, please, if you could move, I will start my treatment immediately. What happened? As he begins to lay his hands, and you watch as this glowing light begins to heal under the light of Desna.
Have you ever heard of a creature called Bluet?
Yes, I have heard of such a creature. Though they do not often come this far from the Cinderlands.
Well, here's one has taken an interest in your fair village. Or at least the prospect of meals contained within. A large creature, silver of scales, lots of weapons embedded in its back. We ran into it briefly down in the dungeon. Took my leg. And then it came back up last night.
He looks down and notices the leg missing. You see a look that kind of almost seems almost riddled with guilt. You can tell that while you guys have been down in the pit, the town has not been kind to this old man. I'm so sorry.
What did you do?
Summoning the Walia, finding out about the Seven, and sending you on this quest, it's cost you so much. You have already sacrificed so very much for this town, and you continue to do so. You are, if you don't mind me saying, you're a visitor, a guest from Magnamar. Why would you put so much of yourself towards trying to help us?
Father, to each person their own demons belong. And if I care to share them at some point, I will. But you cannot blame yourself for the dangers we voluntarily went to encounter. If you take the blame for everything a person chooses to do on their own, you'll never sleep again.
Sleep does sound quite nice right now.
Oh, it does. And think on this for a while. If someone hadn't gone, despite the pompous ass's rhetoric about him staying, or the wasp nest doesn't need to be removed, or whatever he prattled on about, while ignoring what had happened at his own party, the wasps are still here. And they don't stay in one place. So despite the fact that you concern yourselves with the dangers that have befallen us, someone would have gone, and someone would have suffered the same dangers. We just happen to be the people chosen at this time. Now help me get this old man back to his smithy.
Well, I'd rather take him to the temple, just to keep him under observation and make sure that his treatments are...
You'll have to forgive me, Father. I'm used to battlefield medicine and smithy medicine. If you can't burn it closed, you tend to seal it closed.
No, honestly, if it weren't for your quick actions, his life would be in far more greater danger than it is right now.
Oh, I think his life may be in more danger than you think. Those creatures tend not to give up a meal that they missed.
Actually, slight addendum on that. They actually choose to bite them, bleed them out, and then once they're dead and rotted, eat the flesh. Then.
Ah, so they're more carrion. Okay.
Not entirely carrion, but yeah, they don't like, they're ambush predators. So they attack, they let you die, and then they come back to finish it off or to eat you afterwards.
Fair enough.
It's just
So
safer.
on that note, it's going to come back to Scarnetti's house at one point to pick up the things.
Probably.
Supposedly, probably. Okay. Well, that could be a Scarnetti issue.
So I need to buy a couple of webcams and need to get a server set up because I want to watch that.
That's true. Well, it'll be looking for a corpse, but yes. Okay.
I'll accompany the priest back to the temple, but as soon as we get to the temple and the blacksmith is safe, secure, and comfortable, I'm going to my shop. I have a gun to build.
All right. You head to the shop and you begin to construct your gun. The night goes by relatively quickly for everyone. Though perhaps a little restless, you all manage to get some shut-eye at least. All right, and we are going to give you guys an overnight rest.
Yay.
Woo.
All right, the next morning. You are awoken. As the sunlight comes in, dappled through the windows, it is a new day. As you awoke, you hear the sounds of the markets starting up for the day, the fishermen heading out from the harbor, the bells of the cathedral ringing about. The town is a little different as you head out into the streets. Though only a handful of people were at the party the previous night, word has already traveled about the monster that reared its head in the town. People are starting to just talk. They're not afraid of you or things like that. They're just nervous, scared. All right, the scene is yours.
What are you looking at? No,
As you say this, a child is quickly scooped up by their mother, and they puddle along the streets. As Ziak sort of has this the Kolo have those hyena features, so you kind of have this sort of snarl, but because you've got your disguise on, it's it's kind of almost like your face is twisted a little awkwardly. It looks almost monstrous.
Oh no.
Novander's going to go looking for Westonson.
You find Westonson at his apartment, where he has been working most of the night, and seems to have on his person a shiny, brand new weapon, which, if you want to describe it, Westonson, you may.
It's a modification to his musket axe. It's got a extra barrel hanging off to the side of it.
Jeez, you look like crap, Westonson.
Thank you. Nicest thing you said to me all week.
Yeah, I should really change that. I need to branch out and make more friends. Hey, I was thinking, you have that shiny new toy of yours, and I have my bow. It's been a while since we've had a bit of a competition. How about we go out into the hills and go for a bit of a hunt?
I could use a moment to give this a test. Safer away from other people in case it backfires. World won't miss one more elf. I mean...
All right. Do either of you wish to invite any of the others on your hunt?
Oh, this is Devander's invitation, so I'll follow his lead.
Yeah, I'd probably invite Ziak as well. Peyton if he likes, and Sindariel if she likes, but it doesn't have any expectations on those three if they wish to come.
Oh, well, I've got nothing else to do. Sure.
Especially when I see you making faces at children.
I did not mean to do that.
Fair.
So for scenario, if we are sort of staying in town, she would actually prefer to try to repair some of their reputation as much as she can by effectively doing a stint in the orphanage, more to try to recenter herself back to the life that she's trying to protect, and also to bring a smile to the few people that probably don't look down on her still as much.
Fair.
Obviously, the adults are a lost cause. She's going for the younger crowd, the next generation that's going to replace them.
All right. You begin to help out of the orphanage. Of course, your help is quite welcome. Of course, it's not that you hear people still talking, but like some of the kids don't quite understand what's going on with the adults.
Yeah.
So they're trying to understand like what's going on. They're trying to, in their own way, interpret like what the fuss is right now.
Yep. And I guess from her point of view is she's trying to keep them their sense of normality as much as she can. At least that's her intention.
Yeah, of course. Okay. The hunt goes by reasonably well. Can I get you guys to make a survival check for those of you who went on the hunt?
That's a nat 20 for Nevada.
Can you roll mine?
Oh, yes, I can. Let's see, Ziak.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Everything was loaded up, and then it closed out.
That's right. That is a 16.
All
Okay.
right.
Between the three of you, you're able to hunt down about 4 rabbits and a reasonably decent-sized boar, as well.
Damn.
Yeah, not a bad haul. I'm gonna just sort of move this through, and Sindariel, with obviously you guys knowing Sindariel works the orphanage and stuff like that, it's a good place to actually make use of the meats and furs and the like, to kind of help support and feed the kids and stuff like that. They're very excited for you guys to provide said meat and stuff, and yeah, they've managed to also grab some vegetables from their own fresh veggie garden, and the like. While they're doing that, Peyton, what are you up to?
You're muted now.
Thank you. I am actually at the docks over on Turanok, or Turandarok River, where we fought the giant. Over here doing some thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of grabbing some stones and skipping them across at where we saw the giant. And he's just thinking to himself, kind of how he can better himself in the pit, instead of kind of like what he's been doing, where he's just kind of been throwing himself at the enemies.
Interesting.
It's been like,
make a intelligence check.
oops. 12.
With a 12. So, as you ponder and consider, you think to yourself, being a fighter means understanding and knowing the art of battle. How much of your fighting, how much of your combat that you have done up until this point have been something that you could say is worthy of such a name as a battle, and how much of it has just been sprawling, throwing yourself headlong into a dangerous situation and hoping you survive? You think to yourself, there has to be a better way. Something needs to change. As you're thinking,
And then I
this-
come.
There you go.
I was gonna say it. Part of me starts thinking, maybe I could just start throwing stuff. Like I start thinking about the rocks that I'm tossing on the riverbed. I'm like, maybe I could be away from them sometimes too and still fight, throw things at them.
Don't be fooled by the rocks that you got.
Okay.
No, it's fine. Anyway. You contemplate throwing rocks.
Not just rocks, just like weapons, throwing throwable weapons kind of stuff.
You contemplate throwing things at people. As you...
All right.
So just real quick, not that I have a problem with this, but I just want to nail this. So Neil, when I just set that scene just then, and I was like,
Yeah, I
you
know.
think about like you being a fighter, what constitutes being a battle, where does this stuff really lie, what is a fight, what is something worthy of a thing,
Yeah.
right? When I said all this and you came to the conclusion of I should throw rocks, right? Like
I didn't necessarily mean rocks. It was just the idea that I could start throwing different types of weapons that I can use,
Yes,
like
because during
knives
battle,
and stuff.
it's very important to play javelin and shot put.
Like, you didn't think, like, a bow and arrow or a crossbow, just, I want to yeet something. Is that the...
I mean, I don't know. That's what he's doing. He's thinking. He doesn't really know what he's gonna do.
Yeah, okay, fair. As you look out over the distance, you can see... also, by the way, Nat 20 Productions, good to see you. Welcome in. Guys, if you haven't checked them out as well, go check out Nat 20 Productions. Lots of amazing players, lots of really, really cool, fun games over there. So, yeah, go check them out. You can see there is a ship coming in into dock, one that you don't recognize. It seems to be coming from a place far south, as it has Chelish flags.
Ooh. Yeah, I'll just wait for it to dock, and then it's interesting to see them from so far away.
Sure.
Or to see someone from far away come to Sandpoint,
Yeah, not a problem. All right. You begin to make your way, rapidly going down towards the docks as they approach. Around this time is when the hunters return, leave after having left the orphanage with the meat and stuff like that. Sindariel, I'm going to throw you into the situation and say that you're kind of there as well.
Mm-hmm.
As you arrive, the boat pulls in to harbor. A few soldiers step out in the company of what looks to be a hooded figure. The hooded figure looks around and starts being guided past the docks. Now, this person is probably no bigger than a halfling. All of you make a perception check. Okay. You notice that there is a tail trailing behind them. It seems to be the tail of a rat folk.
Interesting.
Eventually, they begin to head to the temple. And as they reach the cathedral, they enter, and the guards seem to bar your passage forward.
Wait. What's going on?
Are you
We just came from here. Yeah, I was just say we just came from here. Why can't we go back in?
The large guards seem to be dressed in blackish armor with the heraldry of Cheliax emblazoned on the top. Who are you? Stand aside.
I'm Peyton. I just came from the church. I wish to return.
What is your business within the church walls? And do not lie to us, for we saw you following us from the docks.
I grew up here. This is technically my home.
Both guards seem to draw weapons. Do not deceive us again. Lie once more, and we will kill you on behalf of her great magistrix, Abigail Thrune III, as a criminal to the throne.
Criminal?
Vanda's sitting back.
Change the music.
He has like a bag.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And just like.
I was going to say, at that point, Sandera will probably try to put her hand on Peyton, stop him putting his foot in his mouth, and she'll say, well, I assist Father Xantus here on occasion. I'm one of the clerics or apprentices, at least.
Make a diplomacy check.
Oh.
If you have some assistance, you might be able to make it, but presently...
I'll try and assist, because technically I'm also trying to get in.
I
guess, I don't know.
You know, you can just take a -4.
Oh, okay. That works, I guess. I guess, yeah. So, diplomacy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. 7.
Yeah, no. Nope. Anyone else wanting to try their hand at helping get in?
Nevada, they're doing church business. Nevada doesn't care about church business. He has no reason to be involved. As far as he knows, this is just a dignitary from some other country paying respect. Why would Nevada want to intrude on that?
Very true.
Like I said, he's in the background, eating jerky.
I love it.
Ziak's like, why do you need to go in there right now?
This is Peyton and Cinderio being spoken to.
Yep. I'm guessing Sandero knows enough about the symbols.
Yes,
else?
absolutely.
Yeah.
So Cheliax is the nation to the south, which is a devil-worshipping city filled with very, what's the word? They're
Haughty?
tyrannic. It's a tyrannical society that is very, I don't want to say xenophobic. It's like everyone worships the queen. If you don't worship the queen, you are, you know, you're basically in quite a bit of trouble, you know.
Yeah. So for Sandero,
and in a very, very technical way, Sandpoint is part of the Chelish Empire.
Yeah. But effectively, lots of the philosophies are very different to what Styril herself believes in, and also what Father Xantus is, and the fact that they're here blocking this, given everything else. She's trying. She whispers to Ziek that she's trying to get in because she's worried for the Father Xantus himself at this point.
Oh.
And Peyton tells you that he's like, I should be able to enter my home whenever I feel like it. It is my, I did grow up here and it is my home after all.
In that case,
and
let me try.
Father Xantus has, knows this well, so. Ooh, oh, damn.
Okay.
Whoa.
Unfortunately, the gods do not budge.
Can I hero point that?
Sure, not a problem. Go for the hero point.
Okay. Let's try it one more time. Huh?
Nice.
Okay. As you both sort of say this, fine. You, priestess, you may enter after a weapon search.
Very well. She will hand her actual weapons off to the party.
All right.
Hang on, Nomia.
Kind sir, we are the priestess, helpers. May we go in with her? But we're bodyguards, helpers. No?
No. As soon as you say bodyguards, they say no.
Oh.
Well, shit.
Well, I don't know if I want to get involved or not.
Priestess, you need your walking cane.
I'm just thinking about that after she's just handed you her staff, which I've been effectively using as a walking staff all this time.
Oh, I didn't know.
It's the reason she's got a quarterstaff.
Oh.
You're not going to separate a young lady from her walking stick, are you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they
If
are.
this keeps up, I'm about to separate her head from her shoulders. But yes, no, you've what's the word? You've put all of your stuff aside, not a problem, and they're going to allow you in.
It's just Sandario, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which hopefully means we have at least an eyewitness to whatever's about to happen inside, I guess.
As Sandario goes through, when she gets, I think it was 30 feet away, I will use my ring of ventriloquism to send my voice over to her and just say, if anything goes wrong, let us know somehow.
As opposed to what her plan already was, which was to just quietly die.
No, I know, I'm just...
Wait, the other.
When she's past...
Let's go on the other side of the
Just
See if we can
sneak
get
around. Let's just see what happens first. Sandariel usually has a plan, so I think.
Well,
I'll
I'm
just pass-
going.
Anyway, I'm gonna shut up now.
Utmost faith
I'm
in
just-
people.
I'm just looking at Evander's face. I'm just thinking, he's waiting for the drama to start.
Yeah, that's basically it. Just waiting for shit to hit the fan any second now.
Once she's past the guards, I'll drop a couple of shot, which she can't use, it's just bearings, into our connected pocket to remind Sandariel that it's there.
Okay, that's not bad.
And then I'm going to steal some jerky from Evander and sit next to him.
All right,
Oh, here you go. It's turkey jerky.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
amazing.
Only thing I have to share is some water. It's not a
That's fine.
flask that used to have alcohol.
Yeah, all right. I can. Yeah, sure. Thank you.
You enter the temple with your friends behind you. As you do so, you can see that there is a commotion coming from up ahead, protesting and yelling that seems to emanate from the chambers of Father Xantus. This is highly unorthodox. This just... I have not received word at all from the temple, and if... Yes, well, unfortunately, it seems as though others have taken matters into their own hands. Little I can do, I'm afraid, especially when there are people who have relied upon me and our temple in order to step into position. I understand this, and I know that you're not... Yes, if you understand, then let's not make a fuss about this, shall we? These men are here to take you somewhere where your services will be much more suitable. Now see here, I can't just up and leave. I'm certain you can, if we have the right motivation. After all, we have brought all the resources we need to. And Sandariel, this is at this point that you reach the conversation.
Yep, and for the NPCs in the room, her eyes are just wide hearing all this as she's getting there.
They look at you up and down. Greetings. Can we be of assistance?
Well, what's the best way to phrase this? It seems as though you're here to do some drastic changes. As someone that helps out and prays from these very altars. You're not worried about disturbing the peace and the serenity that this temple has been founded on? As there is very clearly a quaver in her voice as she's saying all this to these very important individuals.
The gods seem to kind of, first of all, be surprised that, someone's shown up. And as they kind of move to kind of have you removed, the person that is talking to Father Xantos raises a hand, staying their movements. What is your name?
Sandariel. I'm guessing she would recognize this individual as a priest, at least.
Yes. Looking at their face, they appear to be a rat folk.
Sorry, the reason I was asking is because I don't know what the appropriate term of address for like a priest, whether it be holiness or just father or whatever.
Yeah,
for them.
father, etc. Yeah.
So I should just say Centurial, father, and I should leave it like a open question mark because obviously she doesn't know this individual's name.
Mm-hmm. Please, call me Father Reagan. You say that I should be concerned of, what was it again? Upheaval? Disturbing the peace?
Just this serenity of the divine that we try to maintain here.
And tell me, child, do you feel that the town, as it stands, is in a state of serenity?
Well, truthfully, things have been a bit choppy.
A bit choppy? In the time since Father Xantus' service here, the town has been attacked by goblins, ogres, giants, dragons, and from what I understand as of last night, monsters from the Cinderlands. Is this correct?
Well, we're starting to make progress with the goblins.
Progress with the goblins? I've heard that a few have begun to move into town, and while I, of course, commend any efforts to try and better those, goblins are not accustomed to living among city life, nor do they bring great economic value to the townsfolk itself. Quite the opposite, in fact, as they all would require some measure of rehabilitation to fit within the community and its current workings. What it could potentially do is leave many of the townsfolk vulnerable to the machinations and cultural differences that exist between our society and that of the Goblin Society. This could spell for many, many, many types of disruption to the townsfolk's peace and harmony. Would you not say?
Now, again, this is a question for me as a player.
Yeah.
Sandpoint itself was founded from multiple different places, correct?
No. Well, yes, kind of. The Kaijutsu family were from Tien, but the rest, I believe, were Varisian, Chelish, kind of people.
Yeah. So there's already... Okay. But this town itself was founded by blending at least two different followings. Surely, over time, it'd be enriched by adding a third or more.
Sorry, 1 second. Let me just get the picture of this guy out. That's not giving me the thing. There we go. There we go. Okay, you guys can see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So, he says, founded by many, yes, but since that period of time, these individuals who have been in charge have made the town prosper through their efforts, combined wealth. The goblins bring no such contribution. Instead, they bring nothing. They do not bring even a sizable workforce. No. Oh wait, and one last thing is, what part did Father Xantus play in the acquisition of said people into the town?
Oh, this is where she might end up doing a lot of bullshitting. Well, it was in part some of his teachings that led others to seek out the good in even those that were previously thought of as being despised.
You mean such as the spirit of the dead Lamashtu priestess, Nualia?
The one that was herself tortured by
the townsfolk who, under her father's guidance, drove her to insanity. It sounds as though this town lacks the very morals and values you claim to be trying to preserve, Sindariel. And while I appreciate you attempting to stand up for your spiritual leader, sometimes it is pointless to stand up for a cancer when it should just simply be cut out. Father Xantus is looking a little bit, kind of downtrodden at this point. Meanwhile, back on the outside, the guards are approached now quite furiously by another individual, a woman. What is the meaning of this? Who are you people? Get out of my way! The guards immediately go through the same thing. No, we're not getting out of your way. Who the fuck are you? She says, I am Mayor Kendra Devrin, and you will move aside. The guards at this point actually do move aside. They do try to interpose if any of you try to get in, but immediately Kendra turns around and says, no, they're with me. You both, unless you want a very strongly worded letter sent back to your superiors, you will back the fuck off right now. The guards look at her, look at all of you. They kind of back off to the side.
Look back.
She looks at you and she says, why am I not surprised to see you here? Just hurry up and come inside.
I follow and I just say, hell yeah, Kendra.
Yeah, Evander would have followed Kendra as soon as she arrived on scene.
Yeah. She explained, this morning I heard word. Apparently someone had sent off to the Empire to send a new spiritual leader to come to represent Sandpoint. I only got the message this morning, but they had already sent a priest out days ago.
Do you want to take bets on who did it?
I'm pretty sure we'd all win that bet. Look, I don't know what's about to happen here, okay? But I'm not about to lose one of the best priests that this town has had in many years. I need your help, though.
Of course.
Whatever happens in there, we need whatever this new priest is, we need him on our side. If he sees that there's no need for a new priest, he'll just leave. His name is... She looks at some papers. His name is Reagan, and he's a cleric of Abdar. Do you know much of Abdar and his ways?
Can I make a religion check?
Yes, everyone can make a religion check if you would like.
Okay.
Hell freaking yes, 27.
Yeah.
Alright, not a problem. Abdar. Abdar is one of the primary deities, master of the first vault, and who seeks to bring civilization to the wild places of the world. They encourage adherence to the law and promote commerce and trade within civilizations. They generally also encourage cooperation between different people, and their edicts are to bring civilization to the frontier earn wealth through hard work and trade, and follow the rule of law to the letter. Their anathemas are to engage in bandicy or piracy, to steal, or to undermine law-abiding court. So that is their way.
Okay.
You said it was Abdar?
Abdar, yes.
Abdar.
So this priest dude doesn't seem that bad. From this god.
He's not an evil priest, no. At least not that you can tell.
Yeah.
As you all arrive, at this point in time, this is where... 1 moment. All right, this is where you come in and you can see Father Santos, Sindariel, and the new priest all having a conversation. That's a bit too epic. Hold on.
Yes! No, new priest. No, just kidding.
Okay, new priest. Okay, there we go. Okay, so
They fuse together.
at this point in time, Kendra approaches. Father, are you all right? Xantus says, yes, Kendra, I am. I'm just, I suppose, getting ready to pack my like hell you fucking are. You, Reagan, is it? Yes, my name is Reagan, and I will be the new priest tending to the temple of Sandpoint. Look, I don't know who sent for you, but there was a grave misunderstanding. You were not sent for by my office or the office of the mayor. This is just a terrible, terrible... At this point, he pulls out a parchment, and it has a symbol, a seal from the Chelish House of Thrun. He hands it to Kendra. I think there's been no mistake. I am the priest of this temple. While Kendra reads that, he looks to the others. And you must be the adventurers, the heroes of Sandpoint?
No. These people might be. I'm just a rancher who was brought in to help out.
I see. An unfortunate set of circumstances. After all, ranching is a time-honored and hard-working profession. It must be quite difficult to perform your duties while helping out an old man.
It's not an old man that I'm helping out. My wife was severely injured.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Were they unable to receive treatment from the temple? He says again, shooting looks at Father Xantus. He's basically every word, anything is said, it twists to. So this old man's not doing his job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she has received treatment. She's currently at rest. Now you, no, not that far. Shut up. I will kill you. Can I ask, why are you here? Why did you decide to come to Sandpoint? You specifically, not sent. Why were you specifically sent for Sandpoint?
An excellent question. One, I think, a bit above my pay grade. I am a devout follower of Abdar, and have always been so. Being instructed to come here was simply passed down from my superiors. And when the Chelish Empire tells one of its clerics to create their flock in a town far to the north, well, you get on a boat and you don't ask questions. I will say that I have been quite instrumental from time to time establishing smaller missions throughout the southern reaches. I used to run a temple in Isga for a time, where we had to deal with a few issues from the local goblin tribes. Hobgoblins, mind you, but thanks to some clever and rather, shall I say, devout strategies, I was able to convince them to become less of a threat and more of a resource, one shared through my temple and, of course, the Empire.
Evander mentally goes through the list of what you can get from a dead hobgoblin, and not much pops up.
Well, actually, you probably haven't dealt with too many hobgoblins, to be honest.
No, but
Yeah.
you'll still go through the list and is like, lungs? No, you can't use that. Heart? No, I haven't heard much retail of that either.
That's fair.
And what is to become of Father Xantus when you take over, if you take over?
Father Xantus has been asked to simply step down from their position. If what I'm reading is correct, then all that's being asked is for them to live quietly in a home designated for them. Retired. There is no other temple or church that need his particular services. After all, we don't believe that the dear father has been derelict of his duties these last 10 years. We believe that perhaps maybe it has simply come time for him to step down from his duties.
Can't you both be priests here? I mean, if it's happened before, my parents were priests of Aristil, have worked with Xantus as well at this temple as well. There can't be multiple priests?
There can be.
Well, then why?
Oh,
For the reasons that I've said.
No.
You know, the dereliction of duty, the terrible things that are happening, the town constantly in peril and stuff. You know, all the stuff I've already said.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
If if I were not here, Father Xantus would still be asked to step down.
You can't do that.
Alright, so I'm gonna ask this above the table, as sort of like a thing, right?
Yes. Give me 2 seconds. Yes. Ask your question.
Yeah. Oh, this is more to the players, right?
Yeah.
Is it possible, like, if this guy is going to come and take over the chapel, right, the temple, could we potentially make it so that Xantus can retire within Sandpoint, even if he has to live outside of Sandpoint, such as, I don't know, in Evander's Ranch? That means he's still available to his devout followers at the thing, even if he can't practice. So that
Didn't he just say though that he was going to be designated a home?
That's
like one
why
provided
we
to him?
try to talk them out about a home being organized within Sandpoint.
I would be down for that, yeah, because then it's not them keeping an eye on him; it's us helping him stay alive.
Alright, so the thing I was going to ask is there a possibility that we can potentially change his designated home to still be out within the Sandpoint hinterlands area, but not the town of Sandpoint itself, creating a kind of like a compromise between the two? So that way he doesn't leave Sandpoint. He still has his home. He still has a home in Sandpoint. We can still.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to imply that he's being banished from the town. No. He's just being asked to not be a priest. No, he can stay in town.
Sorry, I thought the word designated home means he has to
in town.
get off
No.
somewhere.
We're going to the temple is grateful for the many years of service that Father Xantus has performed, and we are going to provide him a home in town for him to simply live out the rest of his days.
Putting him into retirement accommodation.
Yes.
So once again, above table, right? Is this something that Father Xantus is pretty much getting up in age there by this point in time. This is not such a terrible idea, I would believe personally, as long as we can still engage with him, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
The only issue that I can see is that our forays into the pit could be cancelled, but we do have the mayor's side on this, especially if we start taking that priest into the pit and go, "Hey, look, do you want us to deal with this?"
Well, yeah, pretty much. That's more or less it.
Yeah.
You are correct. It would not be a terrible idea. Father Xantus seems to still be taking on a lot of guilt, especially around Westinson's missing leg, around the Bulette attack that, injured the thing. Everything you guys have been accused of, Father Xantus has been kind of taking the brunt of. The mayor finally finishes reading the notes. Yeah. Because you guys, again, are kind of talking about this. She says, "Look, it says here very clearly that you have been instructed to come here and relieve Father Xantus of his duties. However, there is something here that says, if assessed and found to be unable to fulfill his duties. Father Xantus, up until this point, has been able to fulfill his duties." And again, Reagan says the same thing. "Yes, but he has not been able to." It's like, oh, wait, but he is still entitled to an assessment, okay? And so long as that assessment needs to be done, then Father Xantus remains in place. Thinking about it for a moment, Reagan says, "If you wish to go through the messy process of an assessment of the capabilities of Father Xantus as a priest, then sure, we can go through that. But I figured the old man would like to perhaps save himself the embarrassment and step down before we get to this point." Father Xantus goes to speak. "I have been with this town for many years now. I have fought with the people here. I have shed blood as well. Sure, things may be hard from time to time, but I am not going to turn my back on my flock. There are things that I may have been able to do better, sure. But I will not be laid quietly to rest with so many very important things still to conclude. Administer your trial. If you wish. The trial shall test how well you've been able to guide your flock. And seeing as these individuals here seem so eager to come to your defense, I suppose that they would have no trouble at all serving as your spokespeople for this challenge." Father Xantus looks to you.
Evander looks to Scenario.
Scenario looks to Westinson. Westinson looks to Peyton. Peyton looks to Ziak. Ziak looks to a cockroach on his shoulder.
Cockroach hides back inside of Ziak's ear.
Well,
Santero's probably of the view that this is the person that taught her most of the canon that she knows.
mm-hmm.
So therefore she would always stand by and support him. To me, that makes sense. It's effectively her teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll support him too.
I'm a simple man. I don't have the theologic things, but if Xantus needs my help, I'll be there for him.
Okay.
I don't know how I can help, but I'll try.
And Weston's like, fuck that guy.
Weston's like,
I'm gonna hide in my workshop.
You're on mute, by the way, John.
You're muted, John. I think thankfully you were very animated. I think we got what you were saying.
Yep. I got Shelly to hunt. I'll be right back. The father has treated me well since I've been here, tended wounds. I will do what I can.
All right. After hearing that, you were all kind of sort of given a soft and warm smile by Father Xantus. The priest says, I hope you understand. This will not change whether or not I stay or go. The Empire still requires my presence here, so regardless of if Father Xantus continues to serve or not, my place is as the new spiritual leader here, and Xantus will be taking on a role of simply an attending priest, much like yourself, Cinderial.
Well, could also say that hopefully this shows the faith that the people of the city have.
Well, that shall be seen soon. The challenge thrown, the gauntlet now at hand, our heroes prepare to prove that their friend and priest, Father Xantus, is worthy of his role. Will they be able to help Father Xantus stay in position, or is this challenge going to be too great? Our heroes need to curry favor with the town for many reasons, and with people such as Nowin and Khan Scarnetti actively turning the community against our heroes. What future awaits the town of Sandpoint? Find out next week when we return for the 7 Dooms of Sandpoint. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you had an amazing time. My name's Michael. I'm the Nosy Gamer. This is my place. This is my face. You can find it here a number of times during the week. We'll be back on Sunday morning for Pray for Death, our level 14-15 assassin adventure featuring a whole new group of amazing people. So come and check that out. That's going to be a lot of fun. Lots of high sea and piratey adventures coming up soon on that one. And then later on then, we shall have Gatewalkers, which is our 2E adventure that we have a group of people who are also sailing the high seas. But this time raiding a temple of a water god that may or may not wipe out my team. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess, soon enough. But yeah, so go check those out. So guys, as always, stay safe, stay wonderful, be kind to each other because why the hell not? It's free. And until we meet again, game hard or die trying. Good night, folks.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.